Hello, my name is Olivia Wann, and I'm the owner of Modern Practice Solutions, a compliance consulting company. I'm also a licensed attorney in Tennessee and Kentucky. This is just an informational video. I'm following up with the video I provided last week and hopefully gives you just a little bit more information. We are all impacted, whether you're an employer or you're an employee, we are all suffering and under a hardship right now. And hopefully we can just come together with the information. I wanted to spend just a few minutes talking about the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. It was signed into law. Now keep in mind, it doesn't take effect until April 1st. So if you've already been laid off, this will not affect you yet, but it will remain in effect until December 31st. So if you've already been laid off and you are recalled back to work, whether that's in a few weeks or a month, there are sick leave provisions and medical leave related to COVID-19 that will benefit employees. So keep in mind, there are two parts to this act. The first part is the paid sick leave. And so you can get 100% of your regular compensation, providing it doesn't exceed the amount of $511 per day, or $5,110 total. So 100% for 2 weeks. Now, if you're full-time, 40 hours, it's up to 80 hours. But if you're full-time and that's only 36 hours, it would be the equivalent of whatever is considered full-time in your office. So check your handbook on that. You're not shorted just because you're part-time. So if you work 2 days a week, 16 hours, then you would get the equivalent of 32 hours for this paid sick leave. But you have to meet these qualifying reasons. And so the government outlines those qualifying reasons as the employee is subject to federal, state, or local quarantine or isolation order related to COVID-19. The employee has been advised by a healthcare provider to self-quarantine related to COVID-19. The employee is experienced COVID-19 symptoms and is seeking a medical diagnosis. So if you meet those qualifying reasons, and your employer has less than 500 employees, then you qualify for 100% paid sick leave up to 2 weeks. So that's a benefit to take advantage of. Now, if you've already been laid off and you return to work later, as I mentioned, this is still a provision available to give you some compensation should you be affected by COVID-19. If you have worked for this practice for 30 days, at least 30 days, and you need to take advantage of the expanded family and medical leave portion of this act, there's still qualifying reasons. And that would be caring for an individual subject to an order described, which I described previously, caring for a child whose school is closed or place of daycare is closed due to COVID-19 reasons, or experiencing any other substantially similar condition specified the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. So you could get up to 10 weeks paid medical leave. Now for the employer, you're probably thinking, how am I going to pay for that? Well, if you have less than 500 employees, this is the requirement of the law. Now, with that said, if you have less than 50 employees, then the Department of Labor has the authority to issue an exemption. But we've not been told how that exemption takes place. How do we apply for that exemption? But what I can tell you is that once we have this information, you have the burden of proof. So would your profit and loss statements prove that it would be a financial hardship and cause your business to suffer if you had to pay for this required paid sick leave and medical leave? Keep in mind, it's a little different than standard FMLA. If you have less than 25 employees and someone is taking medical leave and there's no longer a position for them, you do not have to guarantee that person's job. So this is really tough times. Now, the poster that I'm reading from is the new federal poster. I encourage you to go to the video's link and download it. You are required to display it in your office. And I thought it was helpful because it really condenses a lot of the information so that you can have this in your arsenal in preparing for lots of questions. The goal is to keep people working. So if they're sick or they have a child that's sick, we want that compensation to be available, but we want to keep people employed. So find things for them to do. Sometimes call this busy work, whether that's organizing or catching up on things that you've not been able to do. That would be great, especially if you have the means in your practice to keep your employees busy. It is economic disaster when people do not have jobs to go to and earn a living. Think about your employees. They have car payments, they have house payments, they have utilities, groceries, maybe health insurance. And so we've got to look at ways to be creative to keep them busy. But let's look at the employer's perspective. I've been an employer for 20 years. Do you have the means to pay them and keep them busy? If your dental office is in Tennessee, you can only provide emergency care. So how long are you at your office right now? Is that an hour a day or 2 hours a day? Likely you can't afford to continue to pay everyone, particularly your hygiene department. Some of you are working remotely, and if that's the case, I have a video that my colleague Jody put together at my office on HIPAA concerns related to remote activity. But if you can telecommute, that's incredible, and it will work well. But it comes down to, what if there is no work to do? Well, that's what unemployment insurance is for. And so that provides a temporary bridge of compensation until you can get your practice back on its feet. There's nothing wrong with using unemployment insurance. Now, whether you're calling it a furlough or unemployment, in Tennessee, we have the separation notice. I'll have this link in the video. And under the separation notice, it would be appropriate to say reason for separation. It would be lack of work. And if it's because of a lack of work, you indicate if the layoff is permanent or temporary. Obviously, it's temporary, and you'll list the date that you plan to recall the employee. Remember, you've paid into this fund, just like I have. For all the years that you've been working with employees, you've paid this tax. And so this fund is available to help your employees get on their feet. Now, it's not much. Tennessee, the maximum you can get is $275 a week. That's not very much money. And so we're looking to the stimulus bill to add $600 on top of the unemployment benefit that you would be eligible to receive. So in some cases, you might actually make more with the stimulus bill than what you're making in the position that you have at your dental office. But I want to encourage you to take advantage of that. Now, if you've already laid your employees off before April 1st, when the Families First Coronavirus Response Act takes place, remember, they still qualify for some of these benefits when they return. And so, how do we pay for all this? Keep in mind, you get a tax credit if you are paying for sick leave and medical leave. If it's a hardship on you, you can apply for the exemption. There's also the program of the Small Business Relief, which is the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security, the CARES Act. And so we're looking for the possibility of small business loan that would be designed to take care of payroll expenses, interest on your mortgage for your business, your equipment, lease on your space, and such other expenses. Talk to your bank. Some of your banks, you've already got a relationship with them. They may allow you to defer your payments for a couple of months till you get your practice up and running again. So both for the employers and the employees, we want to look at the type of relief that is available. I'm trying to answer as many questions as I can. You're welcome to send me an email, olivia@oliviawann.com. I will work with my clients and assist them the best I can. Look to your CPAs for guidance as well. The Tennessee Dental Association, the American Dental Association is keeping their website up to date and current. I also found it helpful to look at the Internal Revenue Service website. They have information on this sick leave and medical leave as well. And as I mentioned, I'll put as many of the links in this video to save you some time in researching it. We hope that we can get through this as painlessly as possible. Stay healthy. We may have some economic bruises, but it's better to be alive and well, and we can deal with these hard knocks and recover in the future. We've done it before. Hang in there.